Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. One of my Christmas gifts that I vowed to give back to the world this year was to make some public service announcements about the dangers of eating while driving. And I've gotten into 3 car accidents that were my fault throughout my driving career, but I've been clean for 8 years. In recent years, I've been in accidents that were not my fault, believe it or not. I was driving a Mitsubishi Lancer and I got rear-ended. The car was totaled. I've gotten into 2 accidents that were not my fault with the Kia Forte that I'm driving, and my best guess is that the drivers who rear-end me were distracted with, or one of them happened in a parking lot, and the guy was actually eating while driving. I got to see the situation after I got out, and then I got rear-ended on Interstate 10 by a truck, actually, and when he got out of the truck, his thoughts were very confused. You could tell that moments earlier his mind was elsewhere. I don't know with what. And I want to point out something. The thing that you're getting distracted by, the eating or the texting or whatever it is, it takes only a few seconds to happen. The car accident takes a few seconds to happen. The fallout of it often take days or weeks or even months, right? I had to end up getting a rental car. It was kind of nice because my Kia Forte has 160,000 miles on it. I don't need to tell you about supply chain shortages. And when I got to the repair shop, I was really upset that they needed the car in the shop while they wait for parts, right? For some reason, they can't just let me go back after the parts are there because they don't trust me to bring the car back. They don't have space for the parts. Really frustrating because at the time I was semi-living in the car. I had a place, but half my stuff was stuffed into the car just because I move around so much. So I had to go pick up a rental car, move all the stuff into the rental car, and as a silver lining, I needed the exercise anyway. I don't think I need to tell you I have a lot of heavy stuff in the car, right? You guys know what I like to work with, right? And so it was good exercise. And then I drove around with the rental car for 2 months, which is really nice because I got to add thousands of miles to the rental car instead of my own, right? And then the car got repaired. It was one thing that was really frustrating was that obviously the other guy's insurance didn't want to pay for the rental car any longer than they had to, and I had no idea when my car would be repaired, so it made it impossible for me to travel anywhere because I might be out of the state when the rental contract would end, right? And that was the only frustrating part of it. But so the accident, the guy who was eating while driving, he enjoyed his burger for 30 seconds, and then he caused a lot of fallout for both of us, and I bet he's still paying higher insurance premiums today because of that, right? So it's just a lot of fallout for everybody involved when he could have just waited or pulled over to eat and then get back on the road or text or whatever the situation is, right? So remember this, the next time you're tempted to drive while distracted, whether by eating, texting, God forbid, of having sex behind the wheel, which, by the way, I've seen before. Next time you're tempted to do any of that, just remember that the few seconds you save could end up with months and months of fallout, not to mention if you hurt somebody or you kill somebody or you get hurt or killed, right? The worst case of that, right? And I was talking, now people get really defensive when you bring up eating and driving. Usually you can tell people not to text and drive. Some people get a little bit defensive. Oh my God, some people will murder you if you talk about their texting and driving. I was carpooling with one of my colleagues. I can no longer carpool with him because we got into almost a falling out over my pointing out his eating and driving. And he kept wanting to compare it with other things. Well, what about listening to the radio, or what about even just having a passenger in the car, like having me in the car? Well, okay, as for the passenger, you got to compare that to what if the two of you drove separately, right? Do you think having a passenger in your car will double your accident rate? And bottom line is he's addicted to his food. And then he goes like, well, I don't have time to eat at a different time. And I said, you could use a little bit of eating less and I looked at his waistline, and he got really upset about that remark. And so we can't drive together anymore over that. Don't eat and drive. I mean, if you want to eat yourself into oblivion some other time, I could care less about that. The truth is that eating so much and then being unhealthy probably affects your driving, even when you're not eating while driving. But that's another story for another time. But just don't do it. This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.